Hey, I'm Scott, and welcome to the YouTube channel for Champion of Aging. So today I wanted to talk about the steps you need to take to become a champion of aging, which basically means the steps you need to take to stay out of the nursing home in case you live to 80 or older. So that's the focus of this channel, is to keep people out of the nursing home. So I know there are businesses related to that. I'm not trying to bankrupt them. That's not going to happen anyway. But if I can get this message across to a few more people, they'll have a chance to live a higher quality of life in case they live to an advanced age. So that's entirely my goal. It's not my goal to live to 100. I just want to be living a decent quality of life in case I do. Okay, so with that out of the way, here are the steps that you need to take to become a champion of aging. Number one, you need to probably change your relationship with food and drink. So, and then other things that are just not healthy to do. Smoking, for one. All right. If you're watching this video, you're probably over 50. And it is very likely that you're carrying too much weight. So part of the issue is that most people in this country eat too much. I played some golf a couple weeks ago, and it was at a private club where it's expensive to belong there. And I would say probably at least 6 out of the 10 people that I saw, and I mainly saw men, probably 6 out of 10 could probably lose at least 20 pounds, if not more. It is amazing how when people accumulate more money, how much more they eat. So you need to change that relationship with food. Learn how to live to eat. Learn how to eat to live rather than live to eat, and do not seek pleasure in food. That is an approach that's probably different than what most people are living by these days. It's okay if you have a birthday, you're celebrating a wedding, go have a nice meal. But the rest of the time, you should just be focused on getting enough protein in order to build strength and keeping your calories in line so that you don't add too much fat. Okay, so that's that part of the lecture. The next thing is you need to choose an exercise modality that you are going to stick with. So what happens is early in the year, beginning of the year, when people come out with their New Year's resolutions, they are focused on getting back in shape, losing weight, whatever. So they sign up and go to the gym. Some people focus on cardio, and they get on the cardio, they get on the treadmill, the exercise bike, and that is their focus. They're just trying to burn as many calories in that session as possible. They pretty much exhaust themselves, and over time they get tired of doing that because they're not enjoying it, and then they start making every excuse possible to not do it. Other people will get in there and start hitting the weights. They might be going to Planet Fitness, they're getting on all the machines, they're doing a circuit, and they're going at it hard. They do their circuit for 45 minutes. They're exhausted, they're tired, they're sweaty. And same thing. Over time, they try to find excuses not to go in because they're just tired after they're doing it. And they start, after a minute, if they haven't changed their ways with their diet and stuff, they're not getting the progress that they want because they're probably too impatient as well. So when the bad weather hits, they start making excuses to not go into the gym, and they fall off the wagon, and then they're right back where they started. And as you get older, because your metabolism slows to begin with, if you continue with the same eating patterns, you're just going to add fat again. So you probably end up bigger than what you were before. We've seen that roller coaster with many people over time. So you need to pick an exercise modality that you're going to stick with. For me personally, I prefer to lift weights more than anything else. I do not like doing cardio. I would probably, if I had access to a nice swimming pool where I could swim a few laps, that's my preferred mode of cardio exercise, because I was a swimmer back in the day. And so that's what I would do. But it's hard to, have to drive to a facility and hopefully have a lane that you don't have to share with too many people, so you're not smacking arms while you're swimming. And so that's why I don't swim. I have an exercise bike in my garage. I get on that when I know I've got to start doing some cardio work. So choose your exercise modality. Maybe you prefer to run. You prefer to lift weights. Maybe you were a swimmer like me and you have access to a pool pretty easily. So pick one of those modalities. That will be your main exercise modality that's going to get you in better shape, help you. Running will help you build some muscle in your legs and maintain your mobility. So I won't discourage people to run unless they have real bad physiology like I do and it just hurts. So that's why I don't jog much anymore at all. Then you're going to need your secondary exercise modality. So if you are a runner, you do need to do some strength training, because running's not going to do anything for your upper body, and you're going to need upper body strength as you get older. That's just a fact. So it makes no sense to not do strength training as well. So you can still benefit from doing strength training just twice a week. Build a little muscle, build some strength, get with a good program, and go from there. If you prefer to run, that's your main activity. You can lift on the side, or vice versa. If you're like me and you prefer to lift weights, then try and get on an exercise bike or a treadmill or whatever a couple days per week, and you'll be hitting most of the bases that you need to hit as you get older to maintain your fitness and your quality of life. So just remember, if you are a runner, you have to avoid overdoing it, because running long distances will have the same effect as aging does on your muscle mass. You will lose muscle mass if you don't eat enough and if you run too much and you don't do any strength training. So keep that thought in mind. There has to be a balance. Next up, you need to increase your overall activity level. So aside from your workouts, you still need to be active in your everyday life. So pick another activity that you enjoy. I'm a golfer, or I used to be a golfer, so that would have been a great activity for me to, go walk 9 holes, whatever. Unfortunately, now I've got severe arthritis in both of my feet, so walking on the golf course is not really an option anymore, unless I can find a pair of golf shoes that's kind of like my sneakers, which I really don't have that much interest in playing as much golf anymore anyway, so I haven't really traveled down that road. Instead, what I do is I practice some of the martial arts that I learned years ago, which was namely Kung Fu, and so I do continue to do some work on my Kung Fu. I practice my forms. And I don't do a ton of that, but I do enough to maintain, decent mobility, and it helps with, I believe, my cognitive function, because I have to remember all the details of those forms that I'm performing so that I do them right. Maybe hiking is something that you enjoy doing, or just walking. So every day you need to do some activity besides the activity that you do going into the gym. Or, if your activity is to jog or whatever. you want to do some walking or whatever. Last but not least, you're probably going to have to focus on doing at least a little bit of mobility training. Now, those of you who prefer to do yoga as your primary means of exercise, yoga is great for your mobility. If you're new to exercise overall, you will build a little bit of strength from doing yoga, but you're going to need to lift some weights and do some cardio as well. Yoga is not going to be an end-all, be-all. And same with Pilates as well. Pilates is great for building some strength, getting a little bit of muscle, great for mobility, but it's not an end-all, be-all. You actually will need to do some legitimate strength training and legitimate cardio exercise to get the most benefit out of your training program. So there you have it. Those are your key steps towards becoming a champion of aging. Diet and nutrition. Try and limit the alcohol. If you're a smoker, you probably should consider quitting smoking. You got to keep an eye on your calories. Focus on your macros. Get enough protein. Find the exercise modality that you're going to enjoy the most so that you stay consistent with it. Add on a secondary modality that you don't have to do as often, but you're still going to need. So if you love cardio training, you're still going to need to do some strength training. If you love strength training, you're still going to need to do a little bit of cardio exercise to help improve your cardiovascular function. Increase your overall activity level. Find an activity that you can do regularly in addition to your exercise. Pickleball, tennis, martial arts, golf, whatever it is, hiking, something. Surfing, if you're near the water. I wish I would have learned how to surf years ago. And then add in some mobility work. Do some stretching, do a little yoga, whatever you need to do to continue to maintain some of that pliability in your connective tissues and in your muscles and all that stuff. That is the modality that I hate the most. I do not like to stretch. I do not like doing yoga. I do a little bit of both just to make sure that I maintain some decent mobility. But my Kung Fu also helps with that as well. So, okay, so there you have it. Those are your strategies for staying out of the nursing home. So your steps, I should say. And if you have any questions, check out championofaging.com. Got a lot of content I'm putting up over there. Please consider signing up for the newsletter over there. It's absolutely free. If you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you down the road.